What's up, everybody? We are back at Around the Mat Pod. I am your host, PJ North, and another week hath gone and went in the wrestling world, but we are back at Around the Mat. If you're joining me live on Twitch, thank you very much. I appreciate you. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button or like or whatever it is. If you're watching live on YouTube, thank you. Hit that like and subscribe button. Leave a comment. Comment your thoughts on what we're talking about here this week, man. We love to hear that. If you're listening live on iTunes or Spotify this week, please leave a review. Share with your friends. Tell your friends you heard it if you dig it. But we want to know your thoughts, man. We want to know what you're thinking about, the comments that we're talking about, all the things in the wrestling world. But yeah, man, shout out if also don't forget to follow us on all social medias, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, at Around the Mat Pod. We're sharing all the good stuff, the shorts on TikTok, all those things. If you like it that way, however you like to get your podcasts on, that's where we're at. But this is week number 24, the second Kobe Bryant, the Black Mamba episode. Maybe we'll call it that. I don't know. But unfortunately, I am alone. It's been a short week. I got a travel schedule this week, so I'm headed to Michigan to work a race. If you don't know, I drag race as well, but I'm working a race with the TV Promotions folks, and so we're in Michigan this week for the 250K, and I don't get to talk wrestling on Thursday, so I decided to do an episode alone before we get to the big one next week, which is episode number 25. That's a big one. 25, I feel like, is a big one. We're going to talk all things Summer Slam. We got a lot of big stuff going on in the SummerSlam, the Pick'em. Of course, you can join us in the Pick'em Challenge if you're interested. We love to do that, man. We'd love to get you involved in the pool. It's a good time. So, yeah, next week, SummerSlam, episode 25, going to be a big one. But that being said, again, I am solo, and I am PJ North, so I hope y'all are digging this, man. If you're sticking around, it's going to be a short episode, but let me know your feedback, man. We'd love to know your comments. As always, we kick it off with the headlines. And what the headlines read this week were, first off, the new TNA Champ. Nic Nemeth is the new TNA Champ. And I thought that's a pretty wild thing, right? He's gone. He's done so much in his career. We talked a lot about overrated wrestlers last week, and I had some folks who told me that Dolph Ziggler was overrated, and I always thought he was underrated. I never thought he got really the respect he deserved. And so it's great to see him on the indies or what you consider the non-majors, right? And TNA is a major, but for him now, he's world champ there. So shout out to Moose for just an unbelievable run as well as the champ. So I really think that's cool, man. Nic Nemeth as world champ of TNA. That should be exciting. I can't wait to see the matches, man. They do a great job with production as well. I think they do a really good... They're really positively moving forward and continuing to up the brand, especially bringing it back to TNA, which I think is just the right thing to do. And so exciting. But yeah, man, new TNA champ, Nic Nemeth. The second headline reads, Hologram debuts for AEW. A lot of things were said. Who is Hologram? Obviously, he is a luchador who's actually reprogrammed or rebranded in AEW as Hologram. The hacker thing has been done before. Obviously, TJP did it. They did it with Axiom or whomever or Script, whatever they did in NXT. That was terrible. But the hacker gimmick's been going on a long time, right? A lot of different ways to do it. But I thought H's debut was pretty cool. He's got some pretty cool movesets. He's did a lot of things that were very interesting, in my opinion. So I'm interested to see what they do, man. Also, AEW really has to build their homegrown stars, right? Obviously, they have MJF, who they've built from scratch, but Hook, I guess, yes, and maybe Daniel Garcia, but a lot of the homegrown talent, they don't really have, it doesn't feel like, I should say, it doesn't feel like they have homegrown talent. So we'll see what they do with Hologram, man. It's always cool. Hopefully this goes somewhere and they do some stuff. Wembley coming up in just a little over a month, which should be exciting. I love AEW pay-per-view, so I'm sure Hologram will get a match, and we'll see what he can do. Interested to see where it goes, man. It was a very cool presentation, though, and AEW Dynamite continues. Collision should be exciting moving forward. So H debuts in AEW. All right, the last headline reads, the Maharaja has made his way into GCW, and it was only a matter of time before we saw the Maharaja in the indies, man. And I'm very Raj Desi, I believe is what he's going by. Jinder Mahal, for those who don't know, but him debuting in GCW, I thought was really cool, attacking Effie, going right at the top. And we've seen the things that Cardona has done there, the things that Janela has done there, the things that Jeff Jarrett has done there, the things that Danhausen has done there. All the stuff, Nick Gage, the things that they do in GCW is really progressive. They're a traveling thing. They have a lot of dates. It's a good opportunity, right? You're working, they work a couple times a month, which is really, really good for that. And they move it around. And they go to a lot of different places, which is really great. And I loved Jinder Mahal as Jinder Mahal. I thought he was a great world champ. I thought that there was a really cool way of giving him the title belt. And I thought that the way that they presented him was really good. I thought he got those short end of the stick at the end, but I think with a lot of those runs with the guys who come back, they get a big run and then it kind of goes away. And we've seen that with Lashley, and McIntyre, of course, is still at the top. But you see these things, right, where they leave and they come back. And I don't know where it goes from here, but I'm excited to see. And I think he kind of takes over the indies and does that for a while. Maybe does an AEW run, maybe does a TNA run. We'll see what happens, but I'm excited to see because I like Jinder. Don't hinder Jinder. But the Maharaja debuts in GCW. Those are the headlines. Pretty quick. Like I said, it's only been 5 days since we recorded last. So not a ton of things have happened, but a lot of things did happen, like I said, with TNA and GCW over the weekend, and all those things. So a lot of things moving forward. And of course, SmackDown was Friday. And so we'll get into that. Talk a little bit about SmackDown from last Friday. I don't love SmackDown's presentation right now. I love Cody Rhodes because he's the world champ. He's my favorite wrestler, right now in the E. And I just think that SmackDown has got Fox's presentation of it is terrible. They constantly black out the screen. Half the time I don't know what's happening. There's a lot of the storylines aren't as good as they are on Raw, but the Bloodline storyline with Cody Rhodes exceptional, and them bashing in Kevin Owens was exceptional. Them taking out the Cody stuff piece by piece to really break him down is going to lead to a really great match, I think, at SummerSlam. Obviously, we talked last week about early predictions, and Fred predicted that Roman Reigns will be coming back, which will, of course, as I've said, be a re-debut for the ages. However, that doesn't do anything for me post, but that's a story for another time. However, the Bloodline right now, really working on all cylinders, man. Fatu's really great. Tama Tonga, I just wish Tonga Loa would, I don't know. Someone's got to sit him down. He doesn't have very good working punches. It just doesn't look good. But presentable, like I said, with Solo and the things that they're doing, I think are really good. So I thought that was an interesting aspect of SmackDown. A-Town Down Under, I hope that that's over. I love Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa in NXT, but as champs, I think that the bloom's off the rose in that one. And so SmackDown's a little bit of a miss for me right now. I fast forward through a lot of it, to be honest with you, when we watch it. So I love WWE. Obviously, I love the presentation, and it's great, and I'll still go to a SmackDown if it's in town. But, the Bloodline is a cool thing, and we'll see what happens. So another week for the Bloodline taking over. Up next, Raw hitting on all cylinders, and there's not much else to say, man, other than the Liv fake crying thing, which I thought was cornball as shit. I really, really loved Raw. I think they're doing a great job with it. The main event was a cool aspect. I don't get why they beat the tag. I love tag team wrestling. I do. I love tag team titles. I think it is diluted as it's ever been, has always been in WWE, has been diluted since the 90s. Vince McMahon never cared. I know that H cares, but I don't think he has tag teams. He's not utilizing the tag teams, in my opinion, correctly to my taste, right? Because I love tag team wrestling. I just don't think they're getting that opportunity. So that, other than that, though, man, I thought it was a great main event. They're doing a lot of stuff with the women's stuff. With Sonya and Zoe and Shayna is really cool. I'm excited to see what they do and continue on. Obviously, announcing Seth Rollins as the guest referee was really top notch. We're excited about the way they do that. I think that's going to be really, really great too. So everything happening on Raw right now, right? And then Gunther and Damian Priest going after each other. I thought that was the best way to build Damian Priest, because I don't think he can keep up with a lot of people on the microphone the way he's like programmed right now. I think he does great in the segments, but the one-on-one thing doesn't match for me, but that's my taste, and what do I know about anything? But that was a great way to do that. So I really excited and loved what was happening with that part of it. And then the Braun in Ilya thing where he ended Ilya that way, I thought that was a great way to protect Ilya. You don't make him look weak. He's clearly hurt. They dropped him on the apron. It was a big deal. The Brakensteiner, Pat McAfee, is on all cylinders right now too, which I thought was really, really great. Carlito, another thing, like his subtle things that he's doing right now is really great. I did read, however, that someone put, and I don't, Elite Rockers or one of those bot, just random spam posters posted that the drip was amazing for American Alpha, and I guess I'm calling them American Alpha. I was like, they just wore suits out there, and I didn't get that part of it. I loved Team Angle. I'm a big Team Angle guy. Shelton Benjamin, Charlie Haas, the world's greatest tag team with Kurt Angle, was one of the top things I loved. It's just super cool, and I hope that they redo that with this. However, putting them in there with the Wyatt Six is like, obviously Wyatt Six is going to win. They've been building it for like 12 months, it feels like. So obviously that's a lose-lose there. However, I do think eventually Gable and them get on the winning side and really start to turn it up, and I'm excited about where they go. I could do without the Otis thing at this point, because now they really didn't do the Otis thing when they should have. I felt like Otis and Gable should have fought at Money in the Bank or at SummerSlam or so. I really feel like that should have already taken place, and I feel like they missed the boat on that one. But we'll see. Like I said, I mean, this is me nitpicking at this point because I just thought Raw was really good. And I don't really need to nitpick. I enjoyed it. But I wouldn't have a podcast talking about wrestling if I didn't nitpick a little bit. So for me, that's kind of where I was with Raw. I'm really excited about SummerSlam next week. The final 3 shows coming up here. SmackDown, obviously Friday, Raw on Monday, and then another SmackDown in Cleveland. So next week, obviously a huge SummerSlam thing, so we'll talk a little bit about that. But the week that was wrestling, pretty crazy. I thought it was a good week. Just a lot of things happening in the last few days, and obviously we got NXT tonight as I'm recording, AEW Dynamite tomorrow, TNA on Thursday, which I believe the TV tapings, Cardona returns. Obviously Cardona's not cleared to wrestle yet, I don't think, but that should be exciting too. So a lot of great stuff happening with the wrestling world right now as we know it. If you are a wrestling fan and you're not enjoying it, it's okay to have a pod and talk about it and do all the things, but man, if you're not enjoying wrestling right now, you got to get your pulse checked, because wrestling is right now at its peak. I would say that it is at a better place than it was during the Attitude Era. I think the Attitude Era had those 3 great years of where it was WCW versus WWE, and we were really seeing that. And right now, I just feel like everything is so good. Ospreay, MJF, Kazuchika Okada. Let's not forget, tomorrow is Blood and Guts in Nashville. I will unfortunately be missing it, which is absolute travesty. But I do know that there will be a Rainmaker somewhere in Nashville. Maybe he'll hit it on Broadway. Who knows? I'm excited for Blood and Guts tomorrow. So there's just so many great things, man. So my whole point to say is, if you're not excited about wrestling right now, if you've ever been a fan, or if you're a constant online shitter on one company or the other, you're the problem. Go back to your basement. Maybe actually go outside, touch the grass, as they say. But man, love wrestling right now. So all that to be said, next week, we're excited. It is SummerSlam Pick'em. We're going to do all things SummerSlam. We're going to do best of the worst. We're going to do one has to go. We're doing trivia based on SummerSlam. All of the things SummerSlam can handle as they head to Cleveland, Ohio. So many great things in SummerSlam, right? Had a lot of great moments, and we were talking about that. We'll talk about some of the best main events and pick through those. So we're excited next week. Join us, obviously, at AroundTheMatPod on YouTube or iTunes or Spotify or wherever you watch, man, or listen if you're watching live on Twitch. Next week, we're going to record on Wednesday. So join us next Wednesday at 6:45, 7:45 Eastern, where you can check us out on the pod. With that being said, man, this is a quick episode. Only 15 minutes of your life. I saved you all that. I don't have any commercials. I don't have any ads, other than I am your host, PJ North. And please check us out. Hit that like and subscribe button or comment if you are enjoying it. If you're not, let me know that too. I can help you find an exit, or I can help you find another sport to watch. But just check us out, man, because all the things that are happening right now in wrestling. But follow us at AroundTheMatPod. Follow me. I'm at the PJ North on Instagram and TikTok. Twitter, I'm official PJ North, so not super hard to find, but check us out, man. And until next week, when I got some guests and some friends, and we go around the mat.